everyone. A lot of people post on the group that they would love to trim, but they have a bad back. So this is what I do to protect my back, especially when I do clinics and I'm trimming all day. What you need is a hoof jack. This hoof jack adjusts, I have it on the lowest setting because that's what's more comfortable for the horse, but it can go all the way up to here. So what I do, I have this little foldable seat. I can take it with me anywhere I go. I put it in the back of my truck. And I line myself, so if the horse is right here, my shoulder is up against the horse. And I can align myself. I ask him to lift the leg. And the key to protect my back is I know where to put this hoof jack, so I'm not lifting the leg and then pulling the leg out like this and lifting the weight of the horse, because that's where I feel it in my back. So when I lift the leg, the hind leg, I lift like this. A lot of times I'll lift and I'll hold the horse's leg here with my leg to take any stress off my back, and I guide it to the hoof jack. Once they're on the hoof jack, you can see I'm really tall. I'm long in my waist, and I'm really long in my legs. So there's a lot of stress on my lower back. So once they're on the hoof jack, this helps me get really low down to the level of the hoof, and it really helps me see what's going on here with the hoof. I can also have the hoof on the jack and trim this way, and I can go to the opposite side of the hoof and trim this way. So it's like the hoof is right here in front of me. On front hooves, typically, I used to lift this up a little higher, but now it's stuck. But let's say I have a horse, this is a little low. I will just put their hoof on my knee and I'll trim here. So what I'm doing is I'm protecting myself from that extended movement where there's weight on my lower back. I don't put the hoof between my knees ever. That's just something that was so uncomfortable for me. I would end up like this. It just wasn't happening. Now, if you're really a short person, but look how tall I am from here to here. Something else I do to protect my back, part of the trim that bothers my back is when you lift the hoof up and I ask you to slightly perimeter rasp the outer wall. When I have a horse that's a huge rehab and a big trim, it would save time instead of rounding, if I could back some of that toe with the perimeter rasp first and then go in and round. But I ended up with a lot of trigger points in my shoulders. So a really good way is to sit and just keep rounding, and don't perimeter rasp. Just set the hoof down and do the finishing perimeter rasping. So for me, anytime I stretch my arm out away from my center of gravity, I stress my lower back, and having to come around like this aggravates my back. So as long as I keep everything kind of like up close to me, and my horses don't bother my back at all. Riding my horses don't bother my back, but when I trim for other people and the horse is leaning on me, I tend to trim really fast for clients and kind of sacrifice my body just to get the trim done, and I really shouldn't do that. But you know, when you're trimming for other people, you feel like you're kind of pressed for time and you just want to get the job done. With my horses, you know, I'm not in a rush. If I run out of time, I can always do it the next day. But on a maintenance trim, it should only take you about 10 to 15 minutes maximum to trim your horses. We do a lot more workout than that if we go to the gym. So it's, I don't find that it stresses your back if you're careful not to hurt your back in the first place. But there's a lot of people that have injuries. Now, I've even trimmed, let's say I go to a client and I forgot to bring my stool. I trim like this. I bring the hoof up, I set it here, and I trim like this, and I'll trim them on my knee. So that's just a little bit of to show you how I advise everybody to trim like that. To save your back so you don't get a sore back. Maybe some of my new clients who just started trimming didn't realize that I trim like that. I started doing that about a year ago at clinics. I used to just bend right over and trim all day, and at the end of the day, my back's a little sore. So prevention is key. There's also some horses that can't even get up to the hoof jack. So look how you can adjust the height of your knee, or if they put their foot on the ground, you can just put your toe. Let's say this is the ground. I set their hoof on the tip of my boot when my foot's on the ground. You know, I'm down like this and I trim like that. So I try to stay low. I see a lot of trimmers out there that are very short in the waist and short in the legs, and it's really the body mechanics that you need to be able to put the hoof between your legs and trim like that. And I'm just not built like that. I'm very long. And anytime I overexert myself, I will clench and brace, you know, just like a horse does. And I'm just having all this muscle tension up in my neck and shoulder. So I've learned to back way off, take my time, put myself in a comfortable position, let the horse learn, like, this is the way we're gonna stand. I'm not just gonna get this trim done over fast. I'm gonna slow down, I'm gonna do it right, give them plenty of breaks, and give yourself plenty of breaks. And then you never overstrain your back. So save your back. If you're injured, protect your back.